Hey, this is Rhino, and you're listening to the Tim Owen Harley Show.
Welcome to the Tim Owen Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Tim O and Harley Show. I am Tim O. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Hootenanny Harley. How the hell are you?
Hey, Timo. I'm hootenannying all over the place. I'm doing good, buddy. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Just got back from the fragile porcelain mice. Actually, it was Annihilate and fragile porcelain mice and parasites. Them guys I met down there in Lawrence. Yeah, so we had the Hobgoblin or Hobgob Spookadelic show in Springfield, Illinois. And Ben Harley, Fragile Porcelain Mice hasn't played in, I think we were trying to figure out, it had been like 13 years or something like that since we played in Springfield.
Wow.
I think it'd been a little while.
That's a little bit of a time.
A little bit of a while, yeah. Yeah. People showed up drunk on acid and everything. So I think they were ready.
Just like 13 years ago.
It's right. Yeah, pretty much. But it was at Bar None in Springfield, which is kind of a smaller place, but it was like attached to a wine bar. And
really? Okay.
Yeah. So it got really packed in the band side. And then like me and Scott, our singer, walked over to the wine bar after a while and said, man, screw all these people. We love all you people, but now when I can't get to the bar, so yeah, it was one of those deals where it was almost impossible to get to the bar and get a drink. I don't want to say they were understaffed, like technically, but for my personal, enjoyment, they were a bit understaffed. They're working hard. It wasn't people's fault there, but so we went over to the wine side and it's kind of a neat little place, but it was fun.
You like a little wine, don't you, Timma?
I do. As a matter of fact, I drank a little wine.
Yeah.
This time I didn't mix it with Schlitz, though. This time I mixed it with Stag. Yeah. They had Stag there.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
And it was complimentary Stag for the bands. And then the wine bar guy was buying me and Scott a couple drinks because he said he was a fan.
Oh, nice.
He enjoyed us, so... Yeah, so everybody there was very nice. And then Parasites were fun. I met them, but I hadn't seen them yet. And I think you'd like these guys a lot, actually. They were like...
I think by the name, you might be right.
Yeah, it was kind of a punk rock emphasis again on the rock. It was...
nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember where a singer was. I kind of thought they sounded like a Moving Targets or Buffalo Tom or something, so... more punk than alternative rock, but it certainly wasn't hardcore punk. It was like melodic and stuff. Definitely they would fit in at a Ramon show. We'll put it that way.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so you would have enjoyed it. And but next up, Ben Harley, we got the Pop Show, November 22nd, the night before Thanksgiving, again with Annihilate and Fuse 12.
That's a pretty big show there, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, we do pretty good at that show, and so it should be fun. Should be a good time. Hopefully, we get a good crowd coming out, and we usually do, but you never count on that. So,
right.
Yeah. But
it'll be great. I know it.
I hope so. Usually, it's pretty good. So, well, Ben Harley, a couple things here. I did watch a few things, but I wanted to mention something here. Now. I am convinced that like television stations and like streaming sites are just completely connected to this show, right? Like Comet, for instance. We talk about how Comet, there has to be somebody at Comet that listens to our show because as soon as we review or talk about something, there it is.
There it
is right on TV. Now, this one might surprise you because it surprised me. So as we record this in the space-time continuum, as you call it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Today's actually Halloween.
Today is Halloween. That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct. And so last night, I was up, not late. I mean, maybe late for Mr. Ben Harley, but not too late for Tim O. It was about 12:30. I was like, that's it. I'm going to sleep. Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, no.
And I was on Sling, my snooty Sling TV.
Okay.
And happened to be looking at my guide because it is Halloween. So I was like, oh, what's on like Turner Classic Movies and all that? Well, I happened to see Ben Harley on AMC. All right. Not Turner Classic Movies, not El Rey or whatever the hell those not any of that. On AMC, the Walking Dead channel, Ben Harley. Right?
Yeah.
At 4:45 this morning on Halloween, they played Creation of the Humanoids.
Really?
Now you tell me somebody's not listening to our show. It's not
right.
It's not like Creation of the Humanoids is going to push anywhere else on the face of the earth.
No, it is not.
And it wasn't pushed very hard on this show either, but it was mentioned and talked about. And I was shocked. And it wasn't just that it was playing. I was like, AMC?
That is
yeah. I mean,
that. I don't know, Timo. I think we might be a little bit more on the cutting edge than we.
I think you might be right, and I think that might be why, ladies and gentlemen, there is no more song of the week. So we got too popular, and they said you can't do it. You can't do it. We tried, and we can't do it. So it's over. And I do apologize, but like I said, for me personally, it had kind of run its course. But then, like I said, we had some people say we missed the song. Well, the people who are writing the songs don't miss them because apparently they don't see it as promotion. They see it as theft. I'm like, okay, whatever. We may play something like if there was some friends that have a band or something like that. We can still play that kind of stuff. But some of the fun stuff we do, it's over. So anyway. Oh, well. So, but still Ben Harley on AMC. Yeah. They're listening to us.
Yes, sir.
Everywhere they're listening to us. Yeah, they got their eyes on us and their ears.
Sven Gulli's next, right?
Yeah. Now I'm following a little bit of Sven Gulli, I got to admit, though, because you know that sometimes I see something on there that bothers me. I haven't seen it. Next thing you know, we're reviewing it. So,
you're getting out the Blu-ray and watching the Blu-ray version.
Yeah. So, well, Ben Harley, I did go through. I watched a few things this week. Let's see.
Lay it on me, Timo.
We'll start off with something that's not horror and not Halloween. Even to us, it's Halloween, but in the space-time continuum, people are gearing up for Thanksgiving by the time they hear this. But
sure, yeah.
Me and Angio did sit down and watch a Blu-ray of Rumblefish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from 1983, the Matt Dillon S.E.
vehicle.
S.E. Hinton story, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I love this movie. Absolutely love this movie. It made me a Mickey Rourke fan. And you know how I know that? Because I don't like anything else he's done, basically, except for maybe Barfly. And
Barfly is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Weird.
Yes, but Rumblefish is kind of weird too, actually. But this movie to me, I was trying to tell Angio about it because if you were a boy back in 1983, you probably saw this movie and The Outsiders, which were kind of companion films in a way. Outsiders is a little bit more popcorn munchy, Hollywood sentimental, and Rumblefish was a little more introspective, a little more daring and artsy, let's say.
A little edgy.
A little edgier. Yeah. But I kind of felt like I told her that, in my opinion, now this is me saying this, is that this hasn't been confirmed by someone who actually has a degree or writes anything. But I feel like Rumblefish was kind of like the rebel without a cause of our generation.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Everybody saw it, and I think it affected everybody.
It's been a long time since I've seen Rumblefish. A long time.
Well,
but I remember it was pretty popular, and I kind of enjoyed it when it came out. But it was different, especially then a black and white film at that time.
Yeah,
it was a little daring too. You know
right.
What I mean?
And then,
I thought.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Stuart Copeland.
I know everybody cares what I think.
Well, they're listening.
Especially when I was 16. Yeah.
But Stuart Copeland did the music for this from The Police, and I really love the music for it. Even Tom Waits is the guy that runs the pool hall. Who just kind of acts like he's yelling at him the whole time he's literally not. Watch him out, boys, watch him out. That stuff. Yeah, but what was funny is if you remember, Mickey Rourke had a very understated performance, and apparently he was partially deaf. His character was, so he kind of talked a little bit like this a lot, you know. And apparently, I did not know this, but the crew The crew gave the nickname of the movie Mumblefish. So I thought that was pretty good. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. So let's see here, Ben Harley. Some Halloween-y stuff I did watch. I just wanted to run through it. Watched the Fat Albert Halloween special.
Nice. Good.
From 1977. If you recall, we watched this last year too. I think it's going to be a tradition at this point.
Good. That's a good one. Yeah.
I tell you what, right now, and I'm just going to mention this. I mean, if you can find this, It's really great. I love Fat Albert, and just to hear him and Mushmouth and all that, it's pretty funny.
Speaking of mumblefish. Yeah.
Right. But I still have to mention that the character of Mudfoot stealing the kids' candy and talking them out of their own candy is still one of my favorite moments in screen history. It's brilliant, and Mudfoot lives on. So even with Cosby's problems, Mudfoot is living on. So we couldn't just let that stand, Ben Harley, and had to pop in the shiny Blu-ray I have of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Ooh, yeah. Love that one.
Yeah, love that. 1966. Now, Fat Albert was from 77. Got the Great Pumpkin. I didn't even know it was that old, though. I didn't know it was 66.
No.
I thought it was 70 or something like that, but...
What a fine, cartoon. That one's great. That's such a good one. You feel for Linus.
Yeah.
You really got to feel for him.
You always feel for Linus and Charlie Brown.
Poor Linus. Yeah.
But those are fun to watch. So definitely fun to watch. And then Ben Harley, we watched from 1944. This is another one we watch every now and then.
A new one.
We watched The Uninvited with Ray Milland and The Ghost Story. Big budget Hollywood ghost story. Really enjoy that film. Really do. I think I mentioned last night we watched Legend of Hell House. So we were kind of on a ghost freak out. Yeah. So we're watching on a classy ghost movie freak out. So Uninvited was definitely a part of that, but enjoyed looking at that. And then Ben Harley, finally we watched, actually just last night, from 1980, we watched The Children.
Ooh, yeah.
And have we reviewed The Children?
Yeah, I think we did, buddy.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Mm-hmm. I thought so, too.
Pretty sure we did.
Yeah, just want to make sure. But that's a mighty fine spook show. Mighty fine, low-budget, 1980 creepy movie with the kids with the black fingernails that burn everybody.
And evil.
Always fun to watch. Ben Harley, I even remember the TV ads for that movie.
Oh, really?
It played in 89 screens or something like that. Not a whole lot of them. Did watch a couple special features after we watched it. They had short interviews. I gotta say something though. Troma put this out, and they promised to put out a nice widescreen thing, and they had interviews with the director and stuff. So they were almost going to put a legitimate DVD release out. No offense, Troma, but I'm just going to call it as is. Your DVDs suck. I mean, they suck. They're chocked. Well, they're packed full of nonsense with Lloyd Kaufman and all that. And look, I'm not totally. I'm just complaining about this movie. This movie is not a normal Troma film. It was bought by them and distributed by them. It's a damn good movie, though. And I'm not saying Toxic Avenger isn't entertaining, but this is a good damn movie. And it deserves a really nice release. But what they ended up doing is they ended up just putting out some crap full screen print. They claim one of the last surviving prints. And I don't disagree with that. That's probably true. But somebody needs to do something with that and put that out on a good copy. I mean, I really want to see a good copy of this film. So it's kind of a shame that it's only, available the way it's available right now. What's interesting, though, is immediately in the first 2 minutes, I looked over at Angio and said Harry Manfredini did the music for this. And I was right. It is almost the exact same score as Friday the 13th. And even IMDb noted that was done the same year as Friday the 13th. And that's why the soundtrack sounds similar. No, the soundtrack sounds similar because they're both Harry Manfredini. He's like the Bad Religion of composers. He wrote one song. It's a damn good song. He's going to run with it. So Yeah, but it actually fits really well. It makes the film much better to have the music in there too. I have to admit. So, but enjoyed watching it again. The movie does hold up pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
it holds up.
I thought so when we reviewed it. So
yeah,
for sure.
It's silly, but it's still got creepy moments, and it was made at that good time.
Oh, the kids are creepy.
Oh,
yeah,
you kidding me? Yeah,
you know, and if they touch you, it's over.
That's right. That's over. Just like in real life.
So, yeah, that's true too. They're like little vampires already. Yeah.
As Tim Jameson from Ultraman says, "I don't like kids. They're sticky."
They're sticky. He's true. He's right.
He is right. He is right. What you got, true. Ben Harley, on this glorious freezing Halloween Tuesday? What you got?
Let me look here. See, Timo, I'll check my little notes here. My big notes.
I was say, don't do little notes. We're getting old. We won't be able to read them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Timo, last Saturday we had a little benefit for my daughter Ruby.
Oh, okay.
And so that which I wish I could have flown everybody in for. But
how'd that go?
Expensive, but it went pretty well, Timo. Had a nice day. It was kind of a longer day. I was there from like 2 to 11, so sitting in a bar from 2 to 11 is kind of long for me, but I did okay. I persevered, tempting. You know? Yes, very tempting. Yeah, so I survived, but really good time, really good turnout. I want to thank a lot of my friends that came out, you know, a couple surprises, which were real nice. Some guys I went to high school with and their wives and stuff all came, and which I had no idea they were coming. So that was a real surprise. And, it was a really good day full of music too. We had a lot of different bands, some acoustic guys, some punk guys, some metal guys, you know, some metal girls. So but yeah, some really good bands. And then, one of the bands that played, that night, one of my good friends growing up plays bass for, and this is a guy that I've known for so long. We used to sneak up into his upstairs, me and a couple of our buddies, and we'd listen to Ramones songs before anybody really even closely accepted who the Ramones were. People were listening to the Bee Gees at that point.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, this guy, Andy Kunkel, he played bass. They did a little Black Sabbath tribute thing, and the singer of the band is a gentleman named Mark Michael, who's a pretty well-respected musician here in town. You'd like him, Timo, because he's a big Beatles nut.
Oh, okay.
Used to have a band called Mark Michael and the Hallucination.
All right.
He had another band called Pillbugs, Timo, which I think you would appreciate, being a Beatles fan as well.
All right.
Pillbugs, yeah. And, but yeah, he actually, it's funny, I think he was channeling Ozzy that evening, because he looked a little like him, sounded like him, but man, I tell you what, Timo, they just belted it out. I mean, oh my God, I enjoyed myself so much during their set. You know, Black Sabbath, Cheap Trick, and Ramones are my three favorite bands. You know, that's my my rock and roll trinity, I guess. Right. There. And, so yeah, what a great time. Just, you know, good people. It was nice to talk about Ruby to people too, you know, and get the word out there about spina bifida and some other things. So what a great night. And, just like I said, really great day for music too, you know, like I think I was saying when I went and saw Michael Graves, Timo, sometimes I need a little music, you know, in my system. I need to feel it, Timo. And the Black Sabbath really, it filled my coffers up a little bit.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. My poor cold heart.
So you guys actually, it was a
Black Sabbath supposed to do that.
Well, was it a benefit for Ruby herself, or for an organization, or what was it?
Actually, it was a benefit for Ruby. We were trying to raise a little bit of money for some renovations at my mother-in-law's house, or Julie's house there. Yeah, we really are trying to get Ruby a walk-in shower and stuff, and some other renovations to the house that would help. You know, with her and her care and stuff.
That helps a lot, having those shower chairs.
Yes.
And we have a shower chair. It's very important when we're building our house out of Thermal Ridge. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, you need to have something that you can get them in there. Yeah. Yeah,
and that's the thing, you know, we like to go off too far off, but we've been, sponge bathing Ruby for many a moon now, you know, years, and it'd be nice for her to have something like that. So, so it was a really good time, and I want to thank, there's a girl, Amy Stiles, I went to high school with, and a lot of the guys that I had done stuff over the years, grown up with, but done stuff for their bands and backdrops and many things. A lot of those guys all pulled together and kind of put this on. So
Cool.
was a really good time. Really good time.
Good.
And must say, Black, what would they call themselves? Slack Babbitt or something that night. I think they were. I don't know. That's something. But yeah, it was a really good show. Really good time. So, I guess let's ease into some other weird from there. Something nice into some weird stuff, I guess.
All right.
I'm still working on the Spielberg documentary. It's really good. They going through the Schindler's List stuff.
Uh-huh.
I was talking about our show the other day at the benefit because my one friend who I had mentioned to you has been trying to get me to watch Schindler's List for years. He was one of the guys that came out. So we talked a little bit about that, and then I saw, like I said, some more of the documentary. So maybe I will try to give it, but some of the stuff that I saw was already kind of too much for me. And it was one of the stories in the documentary was with Spielberg too, like, some of the footage that he filmed, he went in to watch it being edited that day and he couldn't do it.
Right.
He couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like, well, it's not just me either. So
yeah. Oh,
even though Spielberg has a lot more involved in it being Jewish than I have,
right.
Not being Jewish, but still. So
right. Well, there's some tough moments, and it doesn't.
Oh yeah.
But I just think there's more of a story there.
Revolve all around that. Yeah.
It does not. Yeah. There is a story there, and they just don't hold back to remind you that this was awful. And I'm glad they don't.
Yeah, it's god awful.
It's certainly not Hogan's Heroes. Okay.
No,
so this is
sir.
like, I mean, they definitely, but it's. I still think you'd like it a lot more than you think you would. You wouldn't have to turn away as much as you think. Put it that way.
Sure.
So
yeah, but yeah, this is a really good documentary. They spent a lot of time on Schindler's List, but I'll get back to you. Hopefully, I can finish that up soon. Watched another episode of Gotham. Gotham's been real good. I'm not sure who this next villain they brought in, but he's wearing a pig head, kind of like Motel Hell. So I don't know. He's not sure who he is right offhand.
The Oinker?
One thing, maybe it could be. I think it could be. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine right now. I'm kind of confused, but shocking nonetheless, Timo.
It's just Roger Waters.
Yeah, exactly. There's something else weird, though, in the show right now. One of the characters, and what's weird about this Gotham, don't worry about people dying in it because they're probably going to come back at some point.
Okay. Yeah.
One gentleman that got killed, he was one of my more favorite characters. He kind of was a henchman for the Penguin and a couple other people, but great character. Well, he ended up dying, but they threw him in the swamp, and the swamp had, some toxic stuff, which swamp doesn't have a barrel of toxic waste floating in it, I
just watch The Children. I know what you're saying. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So this character ended up going into the swamp. They dumped his dead body in the swamp, and then he came out as Solomon Grundy.
Ooh.
So I'm giving them big props because they brought out Solomon Grundy. I just kind of wish they would have used another character, maybe, even though I liked this guy. I don't know. It's just kind of, he's palling around with the Riddler right now because the Riddler's brain's still not working too well.
That's too bad.
So he's using Grundy. Now he's using Grundy to pummel people in an underground fighting thing to try to make money to fix his brain.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. So last but not least, Wendy came to me the other day and was like, I taped some show I thought you might find interesting. I'm like, oh, geez. And it's called the original, because we've been talking about it and other things, and she says, it's called The Original Killer Clown. And it's about this guy, said John Wayne Gacy. And she goes, I don't know. And sure enough, it was like an hour-long documentary on John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, I saw that on Sling. I didn't watch it, but I saw that it was streamed on Sling. How was that?
Not bad. Not too bad, Timo. I knew a little bit about John Wayne Gacy, but I did not know that I think what they said, he had 27 bodies or something under his house. I do believe
he killed
it was.
A bunch of boys.
And then, and I knew he'd killed. I didn't know it was to that extent.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
also they were saying he'd lost because he'd ran out of room under his house.
Yep.
So, he's dumping them in the river. And I know they were saying he'd lost count of how many people, but wow. I mean, what's really weird about that too, I also didn't, I guess, really realize too how well respected though he was in the community.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I guess, he'd get caught in one town and split to another town. And
right.
I know it said he was married and he had two, I don't know if they were stepdaughters, but I don't know. He couldn't have been, I think he might have gotten divorced at one point because I'm like, I don't know how you could keep that stuff from somebody.
They do.
Torturing people, in your house and then burying them under your crawl space. So,
right. Yep.
Wow. I mean, it was a good little show, I guess, as far as interesting, but a lot of them shows upset me a little bit because when they come back from commercial, they got to give you fucking 3 minutes worth of what they've just told you about.
Oh, yeah. Recaps.
Told me 12 times now. You've told me 12 times and you keep showing the same thing, but
right.
It really didn't key on too much about the clown stuff. So I don't know if he was killing people wearing the clown suit too. I don't.
He used to go to kids'
on
parties.
Weekends, it said.
Yeah, and he would do that. But he also he did a lot of the art, and a lot of the art also was the Pogo the Clown thing.
And that's what I had thought, but they did not touch on any of that because I was like, I thought he did a lot of creepy artwork or clown artwork and stuff like that, which I rather would have seen some stuff about that, instead of the 12 fucking recaps that they gave me every time that I understand. Oh, wait, did you think I came late to the party or something? Because you keep telling me what's going on.
Right.
I'm like, oh, just stop. But yeah, just really weird, how he finally, once they busted him because he was really, smug to the cops. And then once they busted him, he's like still smug, but he was like, okay, yeah, here's what happens. Here's what happened. Like, wow, just okay. Okay, really? It's that easy, yeah, I found it somewhat interesting. I find these people very, I don't know, disgusting,
icky?
Disturbing, icky, sticky and icky.
Yeah.
But I guess I still sort of fascinated a little bit by why, but then I also like seeing the fact of them getting their comeuppance as well.
They don't know why. They know why as much as you know why you're attracted to women. They don't know why they do what they do. It's all a sexual thing.
Right.
Because really your only impulses are the impulse to survive and the impulse to eat. So to survive or to reproduce, eating, I guess, is surviving, but to reproduce and survive. Yes. So therefore somehow the reproductive urge gets crossed up and you get turned on by disgusting, icky things. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it is. And they don't know why. I don't think they're ever going to know why. So, but no. It's sick and it's sad. Matt, sometimes when you think about it too, and I'm not trying to there's no sympathy I have for these people. Just try to have a touch of empathy. Like, God, can you imagine? I've liked ladies in my life, Ben Harley. I sure like my wife a whole lot. And I would hate to have that impulse and that desire diverted into murder. How do you stop yourself? I mean, that's just awful. It's awful for the people that it happens to. It's awful it's just awful. It's terrible. It's just, it's sick, but, oh, well, that's what he gets for dressing up like a clown.
Right. Pogo the Clown.
Yep.
The original, they kept doing that too, Tim. It was funny. They were saying the original Killer Clown, and they would show snippets of newspaper articles like Killer Clowns released today, before the Fun House, before Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh God. Okay, I get it. You understand, but you're reaching a little. You're reaching a little on that.
Right.
So before it,
right.
It was.
What else you got?
So that's it, Tim.
That's it
for me.
All right. Well, let's get to our no songs. Sorry.
Oh wait, no.
Wait, you got something?
I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no songs. But let's see here. Why don't we get to our official films for the week then, Mr. Ben Harley? I guess we're now officially in Thanksgiving.
Good,
Thanksgiving turkey mode. Not too much we can kind of do with a horror show, I guess, with that. But oh well. Yeah.
Thanksgiving or
well, that's true. There are some of those. I believe those even have 2 sequels to them, if I'm not mistaken. I have seen one of those movies, those Thanksgiving movies or whatever. I don't get it. I mean, it's too silly for me.
I saw one of them. It was quite. I think it was Thanksgiving with the killer turkey.
Yeah, it talks. It's like a hand puppet. Yeah. I sort of get it, but I don't know. I'm an adult. I don't know. Let's see here, Ben Harley. Let's get to our official little films. First up, from 1946. 46. We have we have She-Wolf of London.
She-Wolf of London.
She-Wolf of London.
Sir.
Let me get out Movie Guy. We'll do a quick synopsis here of She-Wolf of London. Here we go.
Okay.
A young heiress finds evidence suggesting that at night she acts under the influence of a family curse and has begun committing ghastly murders in a nearby park. All right.
Yeah. That's an easy synopsis there.
Well, it's an hour-long movie. You can't pack too much shit in there, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But
they'll try.
Yeah, I know. So this stars, let's see, your girlfriend from high school, June Lockhart.
Yeah.
Lost in Space.
We used to try ride a carriage together to school.
Yeah.
Horse drawn.
Directed by, let's just say Gene Yarbrough. It's probably Jean. Or whatever, who directed House of Horrors, The Brute Man, King of the Zombies, The Devil Bat, and Hillbillies in a Haunted House. With
oh man, wow, yeah,
with the Stacked Deck Woman, I do believe, wasn't that
Dixie? What's her name, Dixie?
I think so. Yeah, you could see her coming around a corner. 2 seconds before you can see her face. Let's see here. So this is a Universal film, and I'm going to let you get going on this here. Now, I'm not sure if I've seen this or not before. I can't remember. But I know why I forgot it if I had seen it.
Okay.
I do believe this is a little bit of a bait and switch. Kind of film, and it seems like they're trying to tie it together with the Werewolf of London, even though this came out after the Wolfman. It seems like, I'm not saying it's a sequel, but they're almost like in the script, there's a couple moments where you wonder if they're trying to subtly at least try to make you believe there could be a connection to the Werewolf of London, talking about murders in the park. Is that referring to the old film or not? I got that sense because I was trying to figure out, because see, this was on the Wolfman Legacy pack. Okay, like the Universal, and I'm like, man, did you just have to put this in here because you had to have another film to make it a whole collection or what? Because there's really no clear connection to any other Universal horror film whatsoever. And by the way, let's just start this way. It's not a horror film. What did you think?
Not really.
What did you think, Ben Harley?
I didn't mind the film so much. You know me. I like me a good werewolf, here and there. But what I think this movie did kind of lack a little bit was more werewolf. I mean, you get the sense of one, but you never really get to see it. You know what I mean? And then you find out why at the end or whatever. But I'm a big June Lockhart fan too. I mean, I like me some Lassie, but I'm a Lost in Space fan.
Yep.
I'm a kid of I considered myself part of the space family, Robinson.
Oh,
they left me behind. You know what I mean? But I really liked you, and it was cool to see her. Man, she was young then. And quite the pip too. Quite the pip. I thought she is quite cute. Both of the ladies. Both of the young ladies in the film.
Yeah.
Something to look at. So
there's something for everybody. For everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. It's like you kind of feel for her because she really doesn't know what's going on. But it's your typical stuff with werewolves, right? Like they wake up and dirty feet or their shoes are dirty and they got
Right.
blood on them, or they, whatever, they wake up somewhere crazy. But, they use a lot of that stuff in this movie too, but kind of, just like the Wolfman too, she's kind of driving herself crazy.
Right.
Kinda how Lawrence Talbot did too. But,
Right.
I don't know, as far as the old black and white films, it's not too bad, but you could kind of, I sort of sensed early on, and I'm not that great at this, but I sensed a little early on that I didn't think she was the werewolf.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just didn't. And so, I mean, did I give it away, Timo? I don't know.
No, not really. And I think that, no, because here's the thing, and I already plan on this. I think it's fair to tell people that this is not that hard to find, only because it is on that Wolfman Legacy pack or whatever. I'm going to warn y'all right now, there is no damn werewolf in the movie.
Yeah.
It's not a werewolf. This is now I'm not giving anything away by saying that. It's still a mystery. It's a gothic mystery. It's an old dark house movie. And I tell you what, let's just take a little time out right here. Can you imagine how pissed off people were in 1946 when they went to a film called She-Wolf of London and came out with what was essentially, I don't know, a murder mystery film noir movie?
Yeah.
That had to have really, really upset people. Now, for me, I like these kinds of movies. I really do. But I have to admit that going into a film with this title, I felt a bit baited and switched. I did feel that way a little bit. Even though I was pretty sure, just given knowledge of film and stuff, I was pretty sure that this was what it was. That's kind of what I thought. Yeah. That being said, it's still a good movie. I
think so.
Just could have been called something else, Maybe. And I have no idea why it's in this pack of films. I mean, this is an expensive pack of movies. This isn't like, a bunch of public domain things they throw together for $10. This was a universal, I don't know. I don't know. It kind of, it's kind of like in the Invisible Man series. By the time you got to the Invisible Agent, I don't know.
It's time to call it quits.
Yeah.
You're right though, Timo. It could have been called something different, and you could have still used her as she could have thought she was the killer, still somehow, I guess. But it's and if you think about it, there was like somewhat of a red herring, I guess, a little bit too, but there was the little portly detective from Scotland Yard, was going around, and he was convinced it was a werewolf, but everybody kept saying, there's no such things. There's no such thing, and end up being there was no such thing, and they said that over and over and over and over, you know what I mean? And then you could fall for that because it happens in a lot of these older films too, like that. Oh, there's no such thing as a mummy. Yeah, there is. There it is. You know what I mean? Like, there's no such, you know what I mean? So, I did enjoy it. I'm glad, I like these hour-long ones too, because it gets going quick and they don't really waste too much time, and there wasn't too many uncomfortable. I don't think there was any uncomfortable noodly fights in there, was there?
No. It was definitely a feminine movie. I mean, there was almost all the characters were women. Most of the men are all just kind of secondary characters. Although I have to admit, I did cringe a few times because they kept bringing up the point, what? You're in this big house with no men? Yeah. It's that just sounds like a place I want to move into myself, but I don't. But it had that, which that was a little unique. That was a little different, especially for back then. And I don't want to call it a feminist murder mystery horror tale, but a feminine. For sure. It definitely had that going on. And that was interesting. It was fine. Look, the movie itself, I thought, was a decent old dark house mystery movie, gothic mystery movie, and I thought it was pretty decent. For me though, I'm gonna kind of because there's better ones. There's better ones, and I just don't like. I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth about how they presented this film. It just doesn't belong where they're sticking it. It doesn't belong on the Wolfman pack. It doesn't belong in the on the horror shelf. Does that make sense? It just doesn't belong in any of those places. And I think that it's sort of gonna just end up being lost to time because of that. They almost screwed up the movie. I mean, to be remembered by anything or anyone because of that, I think. So I can't poop on it because it was a decent movie, but I'm just going to like kind of leave it there and say, if you want to see an old Dark House movie, this one's pretty good. It's a pretty decent mystery. Yeah. It's not like you can't figure out the mystery in the first 2 minutes, but it's not that, like you said, it's only an hour long. It doesn't take too long to get to where it's going. But it ain't no horror movie. It's not a horror film. It's a creepy gothic mystery, basically.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, Timo. It's just not. It really isn't, But I still somewhat enjoyed it.
I think you liked it more than I did.
Lockhart. Yeah. Maybe I was a little disappointed there, But I said there wasn't any werewolf. Basically, all you saw was a lady walking around with a bonnet and stuff. Like that, kind of hidden, So you saw the back of her. That was about it through the mist, and that was, And she'd attack people, but yeah,
there was definitely murders and stuff, and I think there were some dogs running around too that were pretty pissed off.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, definitely, I'm gonna just give it a mild grade, babe.
Okay,
very mild.
All right, well, you're gonna give it a mild.
Enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. I don't disagree with you. I got a little bit of I kept having an issue with it for that, but okay. Well, like I said, I'm not gonna poop on it because it's not a bad movie, and I don't mean it that way. I don't want to recommend it to anybody who wants to watch a horror film. I can't. But I understand what you're saying, and I'm not surprised. Let's see. Let's get to our second. I know. Let's get to our second official film, Mr. Ben Harley. This is one that you picked out. You say, "Well, I want to do this." So this was 1978's. Damien, the Omen 2.
Part 2.
Part 2, that's right. So let's see here. Let me get out Movie Guy and we'll go through a short plot of Damien, the Omen 2. Oh, there's a blurb. There's a little blurb on the front of the...
It's got to be a good one.
Here comes the post-art blurb for you. The first time was only a warning. Yeah, we'll tell Damien's parents that.
It's a little late now.
Yeah. All right. Here comes synopsis. Here we go. All right. Damien the Antichrist, now 13 years old, finally learns of his destiny under the guidance of an unholy disciple of Satan. Meanwhile, dark forces begin to eliminate all those who suspect the child's true identity. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they do.
That's how it goes. Let's see here. This stars William Holden. And I do believe, was it Lee Grant? Yes, Lee Grant. Jonathan Scott Taylor, who looks just like a neighbor of mine, neighbor kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first time I saw his neighbor kid, he was maybe like, I don't know. He's about Chance's age. So he was a little fella. And I went, it's Damien. Yikes, that's Damien. That's definitely Damien from Omen 2. Let's see. We got a Robert Foxworth from Prophecy in this film. Yeah, so that's kind of cool.
Channeling his Mike Brady. I think him and Mike Brady are Mr. Brady were brothers. So he thinks for some
reason, really good friends.
That's something. Yeah.
Let's see. This was Lou Ayres' last movie. Lou Ayres' last movie. He was the old Codger fella in the movie.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Lance Henriksen. Early Lance Henriksen role. Actually,
young Lance Henriksen.
Lance didn't like this film. He didn't like it at all. And he actually would comment that it didn't help his career either at all.
Yeah, that's strange. Huh. I forgot that he was even in it, but like I said, this has been 30 years since I've seen this movie.
Oh, it's been that long since you've seen this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time, my friend. Long time.
Wow. Well, apparently, real quick, Lance, he didn't like Don Taylor, the director.
Okay.
He replaced Mike Hodges. So it was kind of a bit of a clumsy shoot, I guess. If you're replacing directors and stuff, it's probably not going awesome. But yeah, Lance, and that kind of bummed me out because I like this movie, and Lance was not. He's not on board with it. So, well, 30 years for crying out loud, Ben Harley. Did it hold up for you?
Yes. Yeah, actually it did, Timo.
Nice.
This movie had a big impact on me as a kid. Mm-hmm. And I remember Damien, the original, quite a bit, and we growing up here in Toledo, it was a pretty good heavy metal band that had some semi-success. Called Damien, and I'm still good friends with these guys. They played at Headbangers Ball. So Damien, the name Damien's always been around Ben Harley for a long, long time, whatever. Nice. And I really like the original, but I think for some reason this part 2 had much more of an effect on me than the first one. Though I do like the first one quite a bit. This one, there's certain parts in this film, scenes, I guess death scenes that really just resonated with me, and going back and seeing it all these years later was just like kind of jarring a little bit, you know what I mean? And, but I'd forgotten a lot about the rest of the movie, you know what I mean? And so it was kind of nice to go back, and I had no idea Lance Henriksen was in it, you know? And so that was kind of a nice treat. I think they could have used him a little bit more in the film. Maybe that's why he was angry. I don't blame him though. I think he definitely, could have been used a lot more in this movie. But yeah, Timo, there's just stuff in this film that I will never forget. One scene being where the crows come and attack this lady, like you were saying, in the synopsis, where there's supernatural forces, that there's a lot of people trying to get. Because now Damien's parents, he go to his aunt and uncle, right?
Yes, William Holden plays Gregory Peck's brother, and actually William Holden turned down the Omen, the original Omen, and it was such a success that he said, "I'm not turning down the sequel." He's like, "I turned down the original. I'm not turning down the sequel." And actually, this is the only horror film William Holden ever did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so he has a little cousin too that's like his best friend, and so then he's living with his aunt and uncle. And I'd kind of forgotten about some of those, him with the cousin and everything. And I did like their relationship in the film. It was pretty good because Damien really he's quite realize what his powers are, and he kind of freaks his cousin out a little bit in the film. And I just liked some of the storyline of that. Yeah.
It's like the first Omen film, as he's being born, you figure out how he was born, how he was switched to birth and all this and that. And this one, he's basically learning who he is. And what's kind of cool is that I've always liked about this film, which I actually kind of found it to be a little creepier, was you can really see him struggling with who he is. And that to me was more frightening because the power he had was pretty seductive and pretty much just took over him. But you could see him resist. Or when he would do something, he would realize what he did. And as the film went on, it seemed like he got more and more comfortable. But what's really interesting though is it also, and I'm going to get a little snooty here, that it kind of shows the duality of man a little bit because of and I actually found parallels to the biblical stories of Jesus, that they would show like some of his humanity, praying in the garden and stuff, asking, God if he had to go through this and stuff. I maybe because I've seen the movie so many times, I was just thinking these things and I wasn't exactly stone sober. But it did. I really thought about it. And I thought that this was an interesting thing because then when you go to the final conflict, which is the Omen 3, he's full on knowing who he is and he's got his place of power and stuff, which I actually like that movie a lot too. But here's the thing. I don't disagree with you on this film because I think this is my favorite. I think the final conflict is my second favorite. And then the Omen is my third favorite. Now, I like them all. I do like them all. I like the Omen, I like this film, and I like the Omen 3. And it took me a long time to come around to the Omen 3. It was a flop, I understand. It's not well regarded. People don't remember it very much. But when I saw it as a kid, I really didn't like it, didn't understand it. But as I've gotten older, I really enjoy the third one a whole lot. And that goes with this one too. When I was like, I don't know, a teenager, early teens and stuff, I loved this movie. Just loved it because it's like you said, it's more of a pure horror film than the other two films are.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I think it's just, there are so many jarring and and I've talked about this before when I was younger, you always want to see stuff amped up, and then I got to the point where I was, okay, I've seen enough. But this film, watching some of these, and the death scenes in this are just, they're gut wrenching. Like, I played a lot of pond hockey growing up, Timo. Yes. I played a lot of pond hockey growing up too, Timo. And, I like in this movie they're out there playing pond hockey, but the old guy goes under the ice.
Yeah.
And that scene was always one of my biggest fears as a kid. And a lot of it had to do because of this movie. You know what I mean? Like you go under the ice and then the current catches you and then you're gone. You're done. You know what I mean? And it just, there's so much in this movie to me that there's the scene with the crows poking the lady's eyes out and she gets hit by a semi and you get a guy who gets cut in half while he's in an elevator. And then the scene also, there's a scene with the trains where the trains lock together and it's just unreal. And I just couldn't believe I was like, I've forgotten about some of it, but some of it was just like locked away in my mind. And I will have to say this movie did have a big impact on me as a kid. It really did. And it's just a lot of it were more than the story. It was the images and things like that. Just was like, wow, but, like you were saying, I did kind of like it too, because he is struggling with what's going on around him. He doesn't understand that all these people keep dying around him. And I thought that was kind of neat too in the film where anybody that tried, I don't know, was that his grandmother at the beginning? What's her name?
Was it like Aunt Lucille or something? It was Aunt.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Something that was.
It would have been his great aunt, I guess.
I think so. Yeah, possibly. It was definitely like a relative. I don't think it was a mother.
But it started with her, trying to, warn them about him, Damien.
That old bat was in, I'm sorry, and that was really mean to say, and I don't care, but because that's the way I referred to it when me and Angie were watching it, and I was looking, and again, not stone sober, and I was like, hey, that's the old bat from Snow Beast. And I was right. Yeah. I looked it up. I was like, it is the old bat from Snow Beast. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just, I really enjoyed going back and watching this. And thanks, Timo, because I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I always remembered it being a good movie. I remember when these came out. I remember, when the final conflict came out and stuff too, and I think I might have seen the final conflict in the theater. I don't know. Maybe, but I like these movies. I think they're good, and I think this one holds up great.
It does, yeah.
To me, this is not an old movie because I grew up with it, I guess. But when I look back at it, it's an ancient movie. You know what I mean? It's like you and I were going back and watching these black and whites. Now, someone that was 20 years younger than us or more, and goes back and watches this, I can see how it might seem like an old movie, but I think it holds up just great. Right. I really do.
Right.
So,
well, it was again. I think I mentioned that Mike Hodges was supposed to direct it, and he did like Flash Gordon, Get Carter, Terminal Man. He was a pretty well-known director, and he got replaced by Don Taylor, which maybe was a good thing for my pal Ben Harley here, because Don Taylor directed The Final Countdown. He directed Escape from the Planet of the Apes. He directed the 70s version of The Island of Dr. Moreau. And he also directed the 1973 Tom Sawyer. So
really?
Yeah. So I figured you'd probably
like this.
Yeah, because I remember all these flips.
This guy's right. Yeah, man. He knows what Ben Harley likes.
That's right. Also, what might make Ben Harley's fan turn pretty good is Iron Maiden Steve Harris was inspired to write Number of the Beast after getting a nightmare from watching this movie.
Really?
Yeah. So there's lots of neat little.
See? Right up my Ben Harley's alley.
That's right.
I knew this was a good movie.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it does hold up really good. I really like it. As a matter of fact, I think it probably is better suited today than when it came out. Because I think when it came out, it didn't do as well as they were hoping. which is unfortunate because you look at like The Exorcist, which is a superior film to The Omen. And then you look at The Exorcist 2, which is not superior to most car commercials I see. And then you have The Omen, Damien, The Omen 2, which is, I think, fantastic. For a horror film, I think it's great. And it's taken seriously and it was done with care. And there was actually a story involved in the writing, and you knew the characters, you cared about them. Or you couldn't stand them, one of the two. But I enjoyed it. The only thing that was odd for me is, how do they keep honing in on his hair and finding that 666? That's the last place I would think of to look, And he keeps looking there. It doesn't say it that's where it's going to be anywhere in scripture. It's like, I don't get it.
No.
Don't understand that. But I'm going to give this film a big great ape up. I'm not going to do it to the rafters, but it's close. It's tickling them. It's tickling them a little bit. Okay. I really do like this film a lot. And I'm glad we watched it. It's been a little while for me. I do have it on the Blu-ray, so I do like to go back and see that. The Blu-ray that I have is an older Blu-ray, so it wasn't really touched up or anything. But it looks good. It looks good and clear. So I'm going to give this one a big grape ape up. How about you, Ben Harley?
Yeah, I am too, Timo. It just, I'd forgot a lot about the film itself, and I really enjoyed the story. I even enjoyed the end, how his wife kind of turned on too, and I forgot about that, and I just really enjoyed the movie. I thought it moved at a good pace. There is some slow stuff, I think that's one of the reasons the first Omen was hard for me, because it is a little slower. But this one, I'll never forget, what an effect it had on me as a kid. And this was another one of those cornerstones maybe of my horror house, my haunted house.
Yeah.
This is another one that really, so I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a great ape up to the rafters, Tim. I'm going to the rafters on this too. So I will.
Even mentioning that, something real quick too that I forgot to mention is that one thing that I was a little uneasy about was that how the climax of the film to me was a little clumsy, just a little bit. I like what they were doing.
Yeah.
It also was a bit reminiscent of the first one, to where it was almost. I understand why it was a lot like the first one. They were showing that this kid's just not going to die. No one's going to kill him. But at the same time, it felt a little similar, but I forgave it. Though. But just something that always made me a little uncomfortable. You can kind of see the end coming because of the first one. And that's maybe a trap that some sequels fall into. On the other hand, if they would have done it completely different, I would have said, I didn't like it. I like the original ending on the first one. I've been most jackasses. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see here. We got two big grape apes up. Yours is to the rafters for Damien the Omen 2.
Yes.
And I got I don't know, for She-Wolf of London. You got just kind of a mild grape ape up for that one. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, Ben Harley, I don't know. I really don't know what we're doing next week, and I don't even have a tease. Don't even have a tease for you. Got no idea. We're going to figure it out here in about 5 minutes, I think. So until next week, Ben Harley, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.